Good morning, and thanks for tuning in. This is What's Going On Central Illinois, the Greater Peoria Public Affairs Program. It's a weekly check of charitable community events, organizations, and neighborhood goings-on with me, Roxy, a production of Cumulus Central Illinois. This morning on the phone, I have Liz Klise. She is the Executive Director of the Peoria Historical Society. Good morning, Liz.
Good morning, Roxy. Happy to be here.
Well, I love Peoria. I was born here, and I love its history. It's so rich. How long have you been able to celebrate the history of Peoria as the executive director?
Well, it's funny you ask. I've been here about 2 years, but I too am a native Peorian, and I lived lots of other places for many, many years and came back maybe 15 years ago and landed here. So I'm delighted to have found my way home.
So you've been around and landed back in Peoria, and you know as well as I do, better than I do, I'm sure, that Peoria's history is so rich.
It's an extraordinary richness of history that we have in this time and place. You know, I think a lot of people think of the coast as being the hotbeds of what's going on in history,
Right.
but to me it's remarkable the number of people and extraordinary places and events that have happened here. So it's fun to be able to share that on a daily basis.
Now, I know that the Peoria Historical Society is a not-for-profit, but you guys do so many different things. There are resources and programs, and I think you can become a member. Can you kind of give us an overview of what it is that the society does?
Absolutely. So we offer memberships, of course, but I like to think of the Peoria Historical Society really as a three-legged stool. We have two historic house museums, the only house museums in Peoria. We have a collection of 65,000 objects, believe it or
Whoa.
not. I know. And the third leg of the stool is our public programs, which are educational and fun and entertaining, and they come in the form of lectures, behind-the-scenes tours, and bus tours, and all sorts of different activities. So that's the overview, the umbrella of all the things we offer. Of course, I can go into much more detail about any one of them. You tell me.
I would love to hear about all of them. I know the bus tour, I've taken those
Yes.
before. They are
Yes.
fantastic, and they're different categories.
Absolutely. This is our 31st year of offering bus tours in Peoria. They range from the roots of the River City. You can learn about the early history and the distilling. You can learn about world's most beautiful drive, which would be Grandview Drive. There are the Warehouse Renaissance. There's basically a tour for anything you can imagine, and we also do custom tours. For these tours, we've been partnering for the last few years with CityLink, and we're really grateful to have these wonderful buses that travel around Peoria with very entertaining and knowledgeable guides. So you're sitting and watching the world pass by you while wonderful educated docents teach you all about the stories of this area. So they're really, really a fantastic opportunity. And this year, actually, we've started offering them on Saturdays. For the last few years, they were on Fridays, and people are like, we work on Fridays. So this year, we're offering them from 10 to 12 on Saturday mornings. So I think we're going to get a lot of interest in that.
And when do bus tours kick off?
They're June 7th, they begin, and they're from 10 to 12 on Saturdays. They leave from Kelleher's this year, which is another new factor. We also have about 21 different tours that we offer. So
Whoa.
a few of the new ones this year. I know. It's really a wealth of information, and there are a lot of people who do repeat visits of the tours because they're just really fun. You learn something new every time. And what the tour guides come back and tell me is that on every tour they learn something too, because someone will raise their hand and say, "Oh, I used to live in this neighborhood," and I, share some fact. So there really are fun activities.
And to get your eyes on all the tours that you offer, PeoriaHistoricalSociety.org is the best resource.
That's correct. And you can also call the office if you'd like a printed brochure. Those are going to be ready in the coming weeks. We'd be happy to send you one, or you can pick one up from our office. So some people like to have the printout.
So we've talked about the bus tours you're doing in coordination with CityLink and leaving from Kelleher's. I love a good community collaboration, and I'd say this is
Right.
one of them.
Yes.
What else is going on?
So another thing that's coming up very soon is our Rennick art exhibit, and the Rennick art exhibit has been around for 61 years. So the bus tours were 31 years. The Rennick is 61 years, and it was named after one of our first Peoria Historical Society founders, Percival Rennick. And this exhibit is very, very exciting because it features art by local people, Peoria area, people with a local Peoria connection. So you don't have to have been born here. You don't even have to live here now. It can be any sort of connection to the Peoria area. And we encourage people to submit work. It can be 2D art, it can be 3D art, prints, photographs, paintings, sculpture, almost anything you can imagine. And we like it to have some connection to Peoria history. And sometimes people think, oh my gosh, that means it has to be the old courthouse square, or it
Right.
has to be something, the old riverboat. But as far as we're concerned, Peoria history ended yesterday or,
Yeah.
5 minutes ago. So if your idea of Peoria history is something very, very recent, we're all about that. So we're anxious to get people involved in that. Last year we had a record turnout of, I think, 75 pieces by 40 or 50 different artists, and we also offer prize money. So we have more than $1,000 worth of prize money, which is pretty extraordinary, I think, for the in the art community. And we really want to support our artists, so they don't pay a commission if they're a Peoria Historical Society member. You can be anyone, high school age and up. There are no entry fees. We really do try to make it as open as we can. And as a result, we have been attracting really amazing artwork. That's something you shouldn't miss. The drop-off date for submitting work is May 5th,
Okay.
and the opening is May 8th, and that runs at the Riverfront Museum through June 5th. It's a fun way as a visual artist or as a viewer and a lover of history. It's a win-win for anyone.
More community collaboration to celebrate
Yes,
Peoria. I'm on
yes,
board. That is a beautiful thing.
yes.
And again, peoriahistoricalsociety.org. Click on the Rennick art exhibit, and there is great information there to walk you through if you
Yeah.
are an artist and want to submit, or if you're just an art appreciator and you want to check it out at the Peoria Riverfront Museum, another fantastic gem in our community.
Oh, of course, totally, totally. As long as we're talking about events, I could mention you had asked about memberships, and you can become a member. There are all different levels of membership, starting at $35, and they go all the way up. But one thing we've started offering recently, which people seem to really enjoy, are behind the scenes tours of different locations that maybe you've always sort of wanted to get into. And
Yeah.
these cost, I know, so these cost $10 if you're not a member, or they're free if you're a member. So that's an encouragement. Often people sign up at the events because they see what's coming next and they're like, oh, I might as well just sign up and become a member. Because we've had a chance to visit the Pier Marquette Hotel and go up into the private presidential suite and see Al Capone's secret liquor cabinet. We've had the chance to tour the children's home. I don't know, you drive up and down Knoxville and you've always wondered what it looks like inside there. We've gotten behind the scenes tour of that. We've been to the Lincoln Library, to the basement. There's so many peeks into Peoria's past that we've been able to offer. So that's another fun opportunity that we try to provide Peorians and visitors, either one.
I love it. We're peeling back the layers of the Peoria Historical Society. I'm talking with Liz Klise. She's the executive director. And I love everything about what we've been talking about. There's so much to do and so much to learn about our community. And something that my mom took me to when I was a kid was the Pettingill Moron House. And I might be saying that wrong.
No, you're saying it right, Pettingill Moran. That's one of our gems. We own two historic homes, of course. Pettingill Moran is one on Moss Avenue that was built by the abolitionist Moses Pettingill in 1868.
Love that.
And it was donated by Jean Moran to the Peoria Historical Society in 1966. So it has this rich history, this rich roots in abolition, and then followed through with Jean Moran, who was a world traveler and left a collection of just amazing antiques from her family going back generations. So it's a wonderful place to tour. There are tours every Thursday and occasional Sundays as well. And they not only do the tours, but they also have events there, which we just this past weekend, there was a luncheon, a Skyline restaurant luncheon, which harkened back to the days of the old Block and Cool
Oh,
department store.
wow.
And the house manager there, it was really a fun event. It was a luncheon, with fine china and set in the dining room, and you could have a tour of the house. But also they had people on board who were talking about the old days of Block and Cool, whose parents had actually worked there. And so there was a luncheon and a fashion show, just as if you had been. I had never, unfortunately, been. We were more of a Zolds family, but I had never been in the Skyline restaurant. But I got a peek. I got a little taste of it because they had a fashion show of items from our collection, dresses and gowns and kimonos and all sorts of beautiful items, and a luncheon, and then information about the history of Block and Cool. So it was fantastic. And I have to mention, too, there is an upscale porch sale coming up at Pett and Gilmoran. I believe that is May 4th and 5th. You'll be able to see that on our website. If that's a Saturday and Sunday, that's when it is. And so there are all sorts of antique trinkets and gems and treasures that you can find at this porch sale. So that's something to mark your calendar about.
I just wrote it down. I have an issue with collecting fun things. The upscale porch sale, May 4th and 5th, Pett and Gilmoran House. I've got it on my schedule right now.
Wonderful.
Liz, my husband is cursing you.
We don't call that a problem.
Oh, this is great. Now, there's something else that I am very intrigued by with the Pett and Gilmoran House going back all the way to the 1860s. But you have an amazing event coming up that goes back to the 1960s, 1950s, that I think is very imperative for us to remember our history, good and bad.
Yes, absolutely. So I think you're referring to our place displacement project. Am I right?
Yes, thank you.
Yes. So this spring, I'm glad you mentioned that, Roxy, because this spring, a lot of times people think the Peoria Historical Society is, just interested in things that happened in the 1800s or, long ago. But we are shining a light this spring on something that happened 50 some years ago. An area of Peoria known as Southtown, which is an area that was bordered by Martin Luther King, Kump, Jefferson, and MacArthur. And it was once a sort of an underserved area, but a community of many, many thousands of people, maybe hundreds of families that were displaced. The buildings were demolished and torn down, and the families had to move elsewhere. So and that was when the Civic Center was being built and the medical school, and we're looking at sort of trying to recreate the map of that because many of the streets are gone. And we're doing that through a collection of photographs. Here's another partnership with the Peoria Public Library.
Wonderful.
We have partnered with the library and a lot of other groups to showcase photographs taken by a man named Ernest Grassel, who in the 50s and 60s went around town and took photos of houses all over the town. And not only houses, also churches and civic structures and schools and businesses. So the Peoria Public Library has this collection that Grassel donated to the library. He donated 82 binders of
my
photos.
Goodness.
I know. So we have enlarged about 100, and we have access to another couple hundred of photos that we're going to show this starting next week. April 25th is the opening at Carver Center. And it's going to be, these are photos people rarely see. And again, most of these houses are now gone. So we are really just trying to make sure that people can remember and sort of honor the memory of this community. So we're really excited about this.
The Place and Displacement, the History of Urban Renewal in Peoria's Southtown, and the exhibit's grand opening is Friday the 25th. Are tickets necessary?
Absolutely not. Everything is free and open to the public, so come, bring your friends. We're going to have a participatory aspect because we're the Peoria Historical Society. We want to capture people's memories. So we've printed postcards with sort of places that might be familiar to you if you knew the area, where we asking people to share their memory or their stories. Could be a family memory or whatever little something you want to share and remember. We're going to collect those. So we're really excited about that project.
I'm really excited to witness this as well. PeoriaHistoricalSociety.org is where you can get all the information. You have a lovely website with tons of information. Liz, you've got to be a tired lady. You guys are, you have got One amazing. I mean, we have just hit the tip of the iceberg with what it is that the Peoria Historical Society does. As I'm looking through, this is amazing.
Yes, can I add one thing? Because
Absolutely.
I spoke about one house and my other house manager, all of whom are volunteers, and we welcome volunteers. We would love you to come and find something for you to do because there's so many options. But our other house that we own, the Flanagan House
Oh,
on Glen
yes.
Oak, is the oldest house in Peoria. So I just want to give a shout out because again, there are tours every other Sunday, but they're also doing some brand new things, which are they're having book clubs at the Flanagan House. I mean, and if
Love.
you can imagine, one of them is the Jane Austen book club. So if you can imagine reading Jane Austen novels in the oldest house in Peoria, I mean, it's a match made in heaven. And the house manager there offers tea and treats, and it's a whole experience that we're really, really excited to be able to offer. So,
Liz, I'm
don't forget about that.
confessing to you, I am a nerd. I am a book nerd, and I got
Oh,
goosebumps when you said Jane Austen
oh,
in the Flanagan
oh
House.
my gosh. Oh my gosh. Okay, look at you have to come, Roxy. You would be such a great participant. There's the Jane Austen book club. And I don't want to entice you, but I'm going to. There's an historical fiction book club as well. So there are two different book clubs. The one reads more contemporary books, and you can find all of this on our calendar, on our website, on our Facebook page. So much going on, and we'd love to have any readers we love to have involved. And of course, there's another partnership with the Peoria Public Library on the historical fiction group. So,
Good people over
and the
there
Jane
as
Austen.
well.
So, yes, yes.
Celebrating the history of our fair city, the Peoria Historical Society started in 1934, and you guys are really crushing it. Thank you so much. And Liz, you've been there for 2 years approximately. Has there been a moment that really stands out to you where you saw that the history was living on, or it changed someone's mind? Some moment that was a glimmer for you.
That's a really good question. I mean, I feel like I have those glimmers every day. I mean, even today I got a call from someone she was speaking to someone who was 93 years old, and her father came from Sweden to Peoria.
Mm.
And she said, could you reach out and talk to this person, and maybe is there history on the church that he might have been the first member of? I mean, I guess I'm sort of a wannabe detective, and the Peoria Historical Society has every day these really fascinating cases that sometimes we solve, sometimes we don't. But anyone out there who has that sort of interest in finding out, or like I've always wondered about, or what was the story behind, that's what we're here to do, and that's what I like to think we can provide people.
Liz Klise, Executive Director of the Peoria Historical Society, thank you so much for maintaining and uplifting Peoria's history. And I look forward to a lot. There's so much. And we'll get all this up on Facebook so that people can dive in. Volunteer opportunities, membership opportunities, museums, events, art. It's all there, Peoria Historical Society. Liz, thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. This has been a great opportunity. Thank you so much for having me, Roxy.
Get all the information on all the fantastic things that are happening with the Peoria Historical Society at peoriahistoricalsociety.org, and find them on Facebook. Give them a like and a follow, and stay up on all the goodness right here in our fair city. I'm Roxy, and this has been another episode of What's Going On Central Illinois, the Greater Peoria Public Affairs Program, a weekly check of charitable community events, organizations, and neighborhood goings-on, a production of Cumulus Central Illinois. Have a fantastic Sunday. Make sure to get out there and do your absolute best to be kind to all kinds, even yourself. It doesn't cost a thing. Till next week, be safe out there.